So
Good
let's get.
morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. I'm Lawrence Winterman,
I'm Dana Dubois.
and
Welcome.
yeah, and we're
Good.
late, but we're here.
We're a little bit late. Our very special guest, Nabil Ayers, is having some trouble with StreamYard. So we were hoping to get him up and going before going live. He's still struggling a bit. So, Nabil, we are rooting for you. Message
We're
us.
rooting for you.
Yeah, message us. Oh, wait, it looks like there's some messages in the StreamYard chat. Having major issues, not sure why. Okay. Well, here's hoping Nabil can fix that because he is a delightful human being. And because I am wearing my vintage Viz Queen t shirt and KEXP hoodie in honor of Nabil's attendance. Nabil was a fixture here in Seattle, in the Seattle music scene. He now is New York based. I was hoping for some nostalgia over here. So hopefully we will get Nabil on and joining. Lawrence, here's hoping that our whole day isn't podcasting issues because we are both going to be live quite a bit. Do you want to talk first about what you will be doing today?
Yeah, so not just quite a bit. For 12 hours, Blue Amp Media, starting at 11, right after the show. Oh, yay, Nabil is here. Let's go ahead and bring him on screen just to prove to the world that
Okay.
Nabil is really here.
Let me
Hello.
switch microphones. Wait, this one and this one. Say
Uh,
something.
we can
Hi.
hear you.
You
We hear
sound great.
you.
I
You
sound
sound
okay.
great.
Thanks, Ron.
Amazing.
Thanks to Ron for
Nabil.
making it all work.
Yay.
Yeah,
Nabil is
I'm gonna
so.
It's always
delete this
stressful.
other Nabil Ayers from the studio, whoever
Yeah,
that
who's
is,
that?
imposter.
That's a fake.
Yeah,
It's AI.
probably. We're
I'll
all
put in my
AI.
other headphone.
Right.
Lawrence
What's
and I
going
are
on?
AI.
Nice Visqueen shirt, Dana.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Is
I
that
wore
just
it.
for me,
She
or is that
said
all
I
the
wore
she was
it
time?
doing it in
special,
honor of you.
and I've got my retro KEXP hoodie on as well.
Wow, doing
I
it
wanted
all.
to make you feel nostalgic for Seattle music, and also could not find my Long Winters t-shirt anywhere.
Oh
Like trashing
no.
my t-shirt pile, could
You'll
not
have to
find
get a
it.
new one.
I would love to get a new one. Nabil, it is so good to see you.
You too.
Um,
It's been a while.
it has been a minute, and my dog is also very excited to hear your voice. She
All
does
right.
that quite a bit. For those watching along at home, Nabil Ayers. I've always said Ayers.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah, it's
prob-
Ayers.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um,
I probably
yeah,
said it wrong.
it's totally fine. I just wanted to make sure I'm saying it right.
It happens.
Nabil, you are a true Gen X multi hyphenate. Like,
Oh,
just
thank you. Most
introducing you
thankful
is
for the
gonna.
Gen X part. Very proudly Gen X.
Yeah, same. Us as well.
Same.
And it's like pulling out a list, but let's see. President of Beggars Records, drummer extraordinaire, um, memoirist, author of My Life in the Sunshine, and amazing memoir we will jump into shortly. Podcast host, a Substacker who has now posted over 100 stories.
Right. Don't forget Sonic Boom.
Co-founder of Sonic Boom
Co-founder. Yep.
Records in Seattle, and all around great dude to know.
Wow.
And the
Thank
thing
you.
that stuck out for me, Nabil, is you were at OK Hotel when Nirvana played "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
For the
I
first
was gonna
time.
save this for later, but oh my God, did you know what was happening when it happened?
I mean, yes, that's really the takeaway is that it really, can you swear on this show?
Oh,
You
fuck
could
yeah.
It really
swear up.
fucked me up. I was 19 and like kind of knew about them. I mean, it's a long story. Do we want to tell it now or do we want to
You
tell it
know
later
what?
in the thing?
I,
Or jump right in?
yeah, I guess I party fouled by bringing it up too early. But honestly, as soon as I read that about you, I was like, I have to ask. Did you know
Yeah.
you were seeing history?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
you know what I
literally
want to
that's
do? I want to hear the whole story, but the very first thing I want to do before you tell it is I'm joining the chat. We have a very
Oh.
lively, active chat here, and I want to put the link to your story in it
Oh,
because
great.
we're going to talk about your memoir some and your podcast, but mostly we are going to be talking about the story you wrote to celebrate 100 Substack posts, which is your 100 best shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I I have seen, I think we've seen thousands of shows, but
Yeah.
sitting down and writing the top 100, I'm in awe.
It's a pretty
But
fun exercise.
yeah, so I think everyone in the chat, we're gonna all be getting into shows. We're gonna be talking shows, so be prepared to share yours. But also, holy shit, Nirvana at the OK Hotel. Can you tell the audience what the OK Hotel was like? I only caught the tail end of it because I got
Oh,
here
okay,
in
yeah, the OK
'96.
Hotel. I mean, I was 19 at the time, which is funny, but I think I must have had a fake ID because I went to tons of club shows. But
We were all
drinking age was
19
always
once.
21 in Seattle. Yeah.
Right.
But the OK Hotel was famously an all ages venue in a town that had really strict laws that made all ages shows difficult. So it was a really important
Yes.
place where kids could see shows in an incredibly musical city and like a cool young city where there just weren't a lot of places to do that. So oftentimes bands would come through and play like Rock Candy and the OK Hotel, like do 2 nights in Seattle so they could do a bar and an all ages show because it was impossible to do one show
Yeah.
and hit everyone. And of course, people who are
Yes.
21 could go to all ages shows, but they didn't like to because you couldn't drink, all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. And Seattle also notoriously, especially then, big drinking town. So
Yes.
anyway, so I'd been there a few times to shows, and this was a funny night because I lived in Tacoma at the time. I went to college at the University of Puget Sound, which is like 45 minutes away, and my friends and I knew about Nirvana. Like, we liked them. We were super into music. Bleach was out. My roommate had
Yep.
it. It was like on all the time, but it wasn't like my favorite band, but it was a band that I liked. And there was an open call, an open casting call to be extras in a live Alice in Chains scene at Seattle Center. They were like, if you want to be in this movie, this Cameron Crowe movie, which of course turned out to be Singles,
Hmm.
Oh,
come to the
wow.
Seattle Center parking lot at 6 p.m. on this date and we'll be picking people. And so we were like, fuck yeah, that sounds sick. Because Alice in Chains was huge. They were the first big Seattle
Yeah.
band outside of Seattle because that record
Sure.
came out in 90, I think, before all the 91 records. And so we went and, whatever. I looked like this with like probably like a polo shirt and more hair, not like, a grunge dude with like combat boots and the plaid and all the classic, like the look. And there's just like hundreds of those dudes. And we are just like, there's no way we're getting in. But we've driven to Seattle. What should we do? Let's open the rocket and see what else is going on. So Nirvana was playing the OK Hotel with Bikini Kill and Fits of Depression.
Oh
It
my
was, I think,
God.
$7, maybe $8. So we were like, oh, and luckily it was like 6 o'clock. So we were like, let's just go down there. We didn't really know Seattle that well. Let's
Oh
find
my
this place,
God.
buy our tickets, go get something to eat, and come back to the show. So we had an easy time buying a ticket at 6:30. No one was there yet. And when we came back, there were like, hundreds of people outside that couldn't get in. And they weren't a huge band, but they were much bigger than the OK Hotel, which held like 250, 300 people.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
So
1990 what, by the
this is
way?
April 91.
April 91.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get in, it's packed. We catch like the very end of Fits of Depression. Totally missed Bikini Kill, which is a mistake I'll have to live with
Mm.
forever. And then Nirvana played, and it was like really obvious immediately to me. I know this sounds like, and it's so funny when you post things like this. I wrote an article about this in Rolling Stone a few years ago on the anniversary, and there's plenty of comments that are like, yeah, easy to look back and say, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, with zero exaggeration, it was so powerful and so different and so incredibly obvious that something was happening for the entire show, but especially during that song. It just
Mhm.
like felt like somehow the power of these three people like was so much more than the sum of its parts. It was really every song that I'd never heard. They played a lot of songs that we knew, and a lot they played like, I mean, the whole show is on YouTube. But they played like Breed and a bunch of songs from that album, and all of them were in my head for the entire summer from hearing them one time, especially Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I did get to
Yeah.
see them a couple more times before Nevermind came out. But I remember leaving, I was 19 and really thinking like that was so heavy and powerful that it kind of ruined music for me. Everything I've ever heard and everything I've ever seen is total shit, and nothing's ever going to be that good. I don't want to play music anymore, and I don't want to listen to music anymore. That's really what I felt like. I was really sad
Oh
when I
my
left that show.
God,
Oh
Nabil.
I
my
totally
God.
remember that.
That's
That's
wild.
incredibly powerful, right? That
Yeah.
you had kind of a peak experience and somehow you knew you were having a peak experience, and the takeaway was like, this actually sort of ruins everything else for me.
Yep. I'm 19.
Oh my
Right,
God.
at
You're
19,
making me.
totally.
I have two follow-on stories for you, Nabil, because one
Yeah.
of the things I wanted to ask you about, which we'll get to later, is like missed shows. Like, what are your biggest regrets of shows you
Oh,
skipped? Do
yeah.
you know what my number one missed show is?
What?
Nirvana. I never saw them.
Is
I
it's not a
wasn't in.
specific, it's just that you never saw them. And
Well,
you,
the one opportunity I had because I wasn't in Seattle yet. I saw the movie Singles while I was in grad school in Nashville, Tennessee, like a
Oh, so you
complete,
weren't there yet. Okay,
I
so
was a
yeah.
complete fish out of water. I was the exact same age as Bridget Fonda when she's like, I'm
Oh, wow.
23 and I feel like I have to do something crazy before I'm 25 or afterwards it's irresponsible. Um, I was in grad school in Nashville. Atlanta was the closest show that the Nevermind tour came to.
Right.
The
Masquerade.
the Breeders were opening, who I like the
I
Breeders
mean,
helped me get me
Wow.
through
pretty good
grad
show.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 4 hours away, and I was like, I've got finals. I'll catch him next time.
Yeah, yeah. And
Next
Wow.
that's one of those
tour.
shows too, that because that the crazy thing about the Nevermind tours, it was still a club tour because they are like, big clubs. It wasn't like arenas or huge
Yeah.
rooms because no one, when they booked it, the record wasn't out and no one would have planned on them being that big. So like that whole tour was just like sold out clubs, which is pretty cool.
It was the only opportunity I had to see them because I moved to Seattle in '96. He was already dead.
Okay.
Oh
And
God, I always forget that it was that late because I got there in '94, and
yeah,
I always thought that you got there in '95, but I guess it was
it's
like
April of
almost two.
'96.
Yeah, it was okay. I'd been there for 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Lawrence and I have been friends since fourth grade,
Oh,
Nabil. So
wow.
like
Amazing.
we go
we've known
infinitely
each other
back.
for a minute, as the kids
But
say.
but
Yeah.
my deepest like I missed like I was so cavalier. Oh, they're a newer band. I'll have a chance to see them later. Did not I never saw Nirvana, but I do
Yeah.
remember being at there was a club in Gainesville, Florida where I went to college
Whoa.
called Netherworld
Are you gonna say you
briefly.
saw Creed or Seven Mary Three?
No, I'm gonna say I used to go dancing
I'm
there
just
with
giving
my
you some
friend Chris.
Florida shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I never saw Creed, thank goodness. I was never into them. But Netherworld was like my high school boyfriend opened it. Weird. A story for another day and one I should probably write. But my roommate and I would go dancing almost every Saturday night at Netherworld. And a lot of it was like old wave kind of stuff.
Right.
But that was the first time I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit. They just put it
Oh,
on
wow.
and we danced, and at the end of the night, because of course it was crazy loud in there, we both left and we were like, what was that song?
Isn't there
Yeah.
something
What
about it?
was it?
And
And we both
yeah.
remembered different parts. I remembered the I was like and to me it just sounded like this swirling
Yep.
goodness, and she remembered another part, but we were like, what was it, what was it? And we didn't know because there was no phone, there were
But
no
you didn't
phones,
just
there was no
Shazam it? Yeah.
Shazam. Yeah,
Right,
no, we
right.
couldn't do
Yeah.
that.
You didn't
But then
have your smartphones?
we were watching 120 Minutes like the next weekend, I think. And I
Right.
hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers with the White Hot Passion of a Thousand Suns. But Anthony Kiedis was hosting, and I just remember him saying, "This is Nirvana," and he pronounced it as like, "This is fucking heaven." And
Right.
that song came on, and we like went bolting to the TV, like, "That's the
So
song!"
wild. I mean, that's the
So
thing about that. I've talked about this a lot with that show and
yeah,
other shows, but like not not being able to hear it again, which is something that's actually just hard to relate to now. Not even like remembering what it was like then, but even for me, it's just like if I hear like you can always figure out what something is. You can find it on YouTube
yes,
if anyone plays a new song.
Right.
But then it was just
right.
like I don't. What if I never hear that again? What if that
Right.
was just one of the songs they played and it doesn't? That's it.
Yeah,
That
what if
was
you're
totally
listening to
possible. There
some
was just
weird
no
late night,
way. Yeah.
DJ and he plays something random and you're like, I'm never going to hear that again. I
Yep.
have no idea what
Right.
that was.
And if
Yeah.
I don't remember who this is, I
Which is
won't.
also part of the excitement of it. Like that's a feeling that I actually
Right.
miss. And what you're
Right.
talking about, even at the dance club, of like wondering and the fear that you might not ever know, that was
Right.
really
And then that
cool.
moment where you
I
do
totally
find it
missed that.
again,
Yeah,
like
right,
Dana
of
just
course.
described, where it's
Oh,
like a week later or a month later or a year later, and you're like, oh
Yep.
my God, this is that song.
I mean,
this is
they played. I lived in. I grew up. Well, went to high school in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I was still spending summers there during college. So that show at the OK Hotel was April. Went back to Salt Lake that summer, and in June. So what happened, which I learned later, the day after that OK Hotel show, they drove to LA to record Nevermind, which is
Wow.
kind of amazing. Because the song, if you watch the YouTube, watch the whole show on YouTube, like, and I remember this, the lyrics are not quite there. Like, it's not done. It's close, but it's not like the version that you know. Some parts are
right.
longer, like things like that. So they record the album. Then they went on tour with Dinosaur Jr., opening for Dinosaur Jr., and I saw them
Oh, that
the same
checks.
similar sized place in Salt Lake. And I mean, equally great show, but they played Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I remember like not only knowing it, but standing in this room of like whatever 250 people and thinking like I am literally the only person in this room who's heard this song before and I know it. And this is kind of incredible. And I took the set list off the stage. I still have it at home.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God, that's good memorabilia.
Yeah.
I
Good
love it.
times.
This is why I love talking about my shows. Oh, I'm so
I
happy right now. It's funny you're talking about a missing song because just yesterday I listened to an old episode of a podcast about the missing hit. Did you ever hear this one?
No.
The it's the Reply All podcast, and it's sort of a show about being obsessive, and I don't want to dive into it too deeply, but it's still sitting with me. So you guys talking about it was like two references in 24 hours. The
Yeah.
whole premise is this guy in California is like in the car singing a song to his girlfriend, and she's like, I have no idea what you're singing. And he's like, you know that song, it was really big in the 90s. Da, 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 da. And he comes to realize, and he goes and he's like Googling all these lyrics for hours and he can't find the song. And so he brings it to this podcast host and they hire a bunch of studio musicians to take his like blah blah parts and
I mean,
they
I'm already
cannot
guessing it's a
figure
bare naked ladies song based on your imitation.
they that's really funny because they end up no it's not but they talk about he compares it to that song. He's like the refrain sounds like you too but the verses sound like Bare Naked Ladies, and they get this band to record the song and they ask people from Rolling Stone and they
Whoa.
ask Jessica Hopper. He asks the lead singer of the Bare Naked Ladies, and he can't find it and he eventually finds the guy on Facebook and it's like one dude recorded the song and got a
Whoa.
contract with a major label back in the 90s, like late 90s when they were throwing cash at people. They tested it in Arizona and a few other places where this guy grew up, but the song disappeared. And so it was
Right.
this rare instance of
oh my
you can't find it, but
Wow,
now
what a
the
great
song is
story. That's kind of
that is an
amazing. Yeah.
amazing story.
I
I
I
yeah.
was riveted for like however long the podcast went on. It's
Yeah.
episode 158, The Case of the Missing Hit.
Will you
Like
put the link in the chat
I'm gonna right now. Hold
for
on.
the people?
This is the Apple
Where is the
Podcast link.
chat? Is it on Substack? Where's this
It's
chat?
on Substack,
It's on
yeah.
Substack. Okay.
There's another one on YouTube because it's and on Facebook
Oh,
Live.
we're just
Although
streaming everywhere. Okay.
we're everywhere, Nabil. I don't know if you noticed, we're kind of huge.
In Germany.
um,
Yeah.
The
No,
World
my
Wide Web.
boyfriend's in Canada, and
yep. Oh, Karen. Oh, hey, Liz Lapointe is here. She runs Gen Excellent. So this is a
Oh,
very Gen
wow.
X conversation, a publication
Great.
called Gen Excellent.
Into it.
This is a very Gen X sort of conversation. I'm trying to decide how to
And
pivot because I do want to talk about your book, Nabil.
we can, I mean,
Let's talk about your book for
I happen to have a copy here if anyone wanted to
well,
see what it looks like.
yes,
It's
My
yellow.
Life in the Sunshine. So Nabil, in addition to being a multi-hyphenate Gen X sort of Renaissance man and famous in your own right, you are the son of a very famous musician, Roy Ayers.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've written this book, My Life in the Sunshine. Can you bring this to life a bit for our chat? Like
Yeah, I
the
mean
book
it's
and
a
also how you came to write a book. Like how did that
right.
happen?
I mean it's a what's the short version of the long story? The book's 3 years old, almost 4 years old, so I haven't
Uh-huh.
done the 30-second elevator pitch. But I mean, Royers is my father. I never knew him. My mother, who I'm still close with and who's still with us, met him when she was 20 in New York. This is like New York, early 70s, 1970, something like that. Very specific Greenwich Village. He's a jazz musician. She's a dancer. She meets him. And the way that she would tell this, and this is basically how the book begins, is she says to herself, that's the person who I'm going to have a child with. Not the person I'm going to marry or the person I'm going to be with, but that she just wants to be a young single mother. She knew this, and when she wasn't out looking, but when she saw him and met him, she decided he was the one. So they were never like actually even a couple. And I think the third time they got together, she said, I want to have a child with you. You don't have to be part of our lives. And he agreed. So it's this really unique set of circumstances where I had an incredible childhood with him having absolutely nothing to do with it, not part of my life. Um, Wonderful male role models, really close to my uncle who got me into music and my mom, but he never left us. There was no divorce. There was no negativity at all surrounding it. It was this very like
Right.
hippie New York, and we lived in Amherst, Massachusetts for a while. If he ever came up in conversation, it was very much like, oh yeah, the wonderful guy who gave us you. Like it was the opposite of what everyone always thought. Where there's always like, oh, I'm sorry
Oh,
that your
the
dad wasn't
wonderful
around. It's like,
guy who
no,
gave
it's
us you.
yeah, stuff like that. So really like sort of good hippie vibes. Um, and I still didn't know him as an adult. Got into music and music business, and ultimately owned a record store in Seattle for a while and was playing in bands. And he kind of had this huge resurgence in the 90s when so many hip hop artists were sampling him. So he was kind of bigger than ever. And I was in my 20s in the music business. And finally, when I was about 35, decided, okay, look, I don't know him, but who knows how long he's going to be around. He's nearing 70. He played in Seattle where I lived every year or so, but I never did anything. So finally, I decided I wanted to meet him, got in touch through his agent. We had this incredible lunch. It was really connective. It really felt like this sort of like, wow, we could do this once a year. And I'm not asking for money or really asking for anything. I just want to know more about my ancestors and my family and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
so he agreed, but from that point, that's where it kind of turned into, I think, how people thought I felt earlier in life, where he wouldn't call me back or would be really awkward on the phone and I would have to explain who I was and we could never set up another meeting. And I finally sort of felt this like heavy like rejection. And really, to me, like for no reason, I was like, this is so weird. I don't even want anything. He's in such a lucky position. He could just show up once a year and just be cool.
Right. Go to
But he
dinner
couldn't.
and
And
like
that's,
that's it.
that's, yeah, but that's how it is. And that is what he and my mom agreed to. So he passed away last year, which is after the book. And but really the point is that still during the book, I mean, I went and did 23andMe and discovered so many people I'm connected to, and sort of I feel like literally went around him while he was still around and met cousins and his sister, who was my aunt, who I was pretty close with for a couple of years until she passed away. Like just kind of a really turned into this incredible journey of meeting people who I'm related to, or maybe not related to, or even like all his band members from the 70s. Like, especially as a result of the book, I've met a lot more people, and really, it's just kind of fascinating and fun. And I love digging into it.
Yeah. I read
Incredible.
something that you found through your kind of ancestry search that, through him you are descended from enslaved people. And wasn't there some really interesting thing where you like met the a dude who was the descendant of the plantation
Yeah,
owner?
it got pretty wild. This is all in the book, so this is what was so fun. Is while I was kind of writing it, I didn't know I was writing a book. I just started writing because I
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to, and my now wife at the time was my girlfriend, and I was starting to write for fun, and she was like, "Yeah, you can write about your record store and like the indie rock shows you went to, but really what you should write about is your father and your race." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Ugh, I know." So she was right. So I did, but I wasn't trying to write a book. That sounded crazy. I was just writing a lot of stories about each time I'd met him or stories I'd heard about him or how his music makes me feel. And that eventually turned into like, oh wow, I've written a lot and it spans this 30-year period. I wonder if I'm writing a book. And then around that time, when I did 23andMe, a cousin reached out and said, hey, we're, third cousins. It's not that big of a deal, but I have a family tree you might be interested in. So he sent me this Ayers family tree, which is this very detailed document that my great uncle, it turns out, wrote in 1967. And it
Oh,
goes
wow.
back to one enslaved man, Isaac Ayers, and born in 1824 in Alabama. It has pictures of anyone it could have pictures of, not him, but most people, has like full pages and all these people. And it's pretty incredible. And it talks about the slave owner. And I did like researched it for like 3 minutes and pretty easily found the guy in this small town. And
Wow.
he's not
Wow.
alive because it was 200 years ago, but ended up connecting with this woman who's a descendant of his. And we became and remain really close, which is kind of wild. So that's a big part of the book and of my life, of just the like, we're not positive we're related. We probably are. She hasn't done a DNA test, but it doesn't really matter. Like we both sort of agree on this scenario, and it's really interesting. And in my podcast, which we can talk about separately, which
Yeah.
is about family, the first episode is me meeting Karen, the woman, for the first time and like talking about this stuff in person, which is pretty fun and a fun way to start it.
Wow. That's such an amazing story.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got folks weighing in the chat of Nabil has incredible stories. And I'm like,
That's nice.
Which is why
yeah.
you should go read his Substack and listen to his podcast.
All right.
And his book. Yeah, I it has been incredible to watch your success. We
Oh,
were all
thank
very
you.
sad when you left Seattle.
I was sad
Um,
too.
Nabil really
Yeah.
was a fixture here in the Seattle music scene, and very much at the same time that Three Imaginary Girls, I'm wearing my Viz Queen t-shirt, another big imaginary band
Yes.
back in the day.
Huh.
It was all the same era. Sonic Boom Records, still around, the
Still there
independent
in
record,
Ballard, yeah.
still in Ballard.
Yep.
And your like Lawrence, I don't know if you know that Nabil played drums with the Long Winters for a while. Um, Lawrence, did you freeze? Are you still there? Uh-oh. Oh
He's
no, I
he's
think
either in deep thought about the long winters.
right. He's like, oh,
And
but
it's
which is
funny. I was just on John Roderick's podcast a month or so ago, which was tons of fun. We're all just,
oh my God,
talking
that's
to each other
amazing.
on screen. Yeah.
I love that. I ran into him at the Grammy party in December,
Oh,
and we had a whole talk about it, and we were like, we need to go on each other's podcasts, and I've written to him. We've
uh-oh.
gotten that
I
far.
lost your audio.
Oh no, is this
Is it because Lawrence dropped out? Is he like hosting or something?
he is hosting. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you. I can see you. I can hear myself. So it's
Oh
not my
no.
headphones.
I'm gonna hey
I don't think
chat,
there's
can
anything for me to do.
um
I'll just hang
you
tight.
should drop and come back. But
Type it
you're
in the chat,
yep.
the studio chat. This is just like a commercial break. I'm sure everyone's happy. Go refill your coffee. Drop and come
Okay,
back.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Can you all, so it's just me now. You can hear us both. Good. Hopefully everybody comes back. Otherwise, it's going to be the Dana show. And I can tell you all about my favorite shows, but that's going to be a lot less interesting. I wonder what is going on with StreamYard and or Substack. I am not sure. I'm going to give this a minute to see. Oh, actually, I can't even re-add anybody. Lawrence has to. Let me see here. Oh no, Lawrence's internet has crashed. When you hold one moment, please. When you dropped Nabil lost audio. So he dropped, but I can't add him back. This might be a very short daily whatever show, or it may just be me. Let me see if Lawrence can come back. In the meantime, I'm going to talk to all of you about your favorite shows because I made a list before this of some of mine. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes and I'm going to ask you all. It's the Dana show now. That's right, Yanni. My little plan has worked. Mwahahaha. Oh, hold on. I am going to have to keep track of the chat here. Hold on one second. Um, or wait, actually, wait. I think I know how I can maybe add Nabil back. Hang on, you guys. I need to open this on my desktop, not just my phone. Discuss amongst yourselves. Everybody put in the chat your favorite shows, and we're going to come back and talk about it. But I need to go find the email with this link. And then I think I can add Nabil back. I hope. Everybody cross your fingers. Scrolling. Okay, here's the StreamYard. I do not know. This might make me enter twice. But if I do. Okay, I am in the studio. Add to stage. Nabil,
Did it work? Am I back?
I can hear you. Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you and I can see you. I feel
Oh,
like it's
thank goodness.
happening.
It is happening. Hopefully people aren't seeing two of me because I'm now logged in on my phone and on my computer. I remembered
Nice.
Lawrence is the keeper of the StreamYard license
Right.
and knows all of the
Well,
technical functions, and I am about to ramp up. We just haven't had time to sit down and train me. But I
all good. It was
remembered
like
that I
it was
now
like a
have admin.
commercial.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I have admin access. So I just went and logged in and let you back in.
Nice.
Phew. I was about to be doing the Dana dance here, but I love that you have published a memoir. Liz is my co-founder in Three Imaginary Girls.
Yeah.
We have aspirations to write a memoir about that era.
That's such a great idea. Yeah.
And we're just like, we just met with someone who's going to help us pull together a proposal because we've never done anything like it.
Oh,
Like,
amazing.
I
Yeah.
am a memoirist, but only like online and short form.
It's the
So
same thing.
it's the same thing. It's going to be,
You can do
so
it.
here's the, I'm gonna spill it to the audience here and to
Yeah.
you, and I would
Give us
love
the
to get your
elevator
thoughts
pitch.
on this because you were there for the era. So this is the tricky part of the book is it will both be a recounting of some of our favorite stories that will tell the story of
Right.
the way that, a few women with no platform, ended up hand building an HTML music website and
It's kind of
helping to
great.
grow
There's your
a community.
subtitle.
Right. Yeah, because all the lights were on Seattle in the era we were just talking about with Nirvana and grunge and all the things. And then the lights kind of moved off of us. But there was such a fertile ground in the early 2000s here because we were being ignored, maybe. And there was
Maybe.
so much space for musicians to grow and try, and all of these incredible bands came out of it. But here's where the story, so we'll talk about all those stories. We'll talk about the bands. I'm
Right.
hoping we would have a record release to go along with it and bring some of these songs to life that
Wow.
never really got the light of day. But here's the more universal story that I think will take it out of Seattle is this is 2002 to 2007. We were called three imaginary girls, but it was the most and the final real time. It was right before
Whoa.
blogs. It was right before social media. Like
Right.
the book ends when the crocodile closes. I have my first child, and the first iPhone comes out.
Oh, wow.
That all happened at the same time. And
Right.
Seattle had to grow. And then, of course, and then the next year, the whole economy crashed, right? The whole financial crisis of 2008 and the
Right.
rise of tech in Seattle, and the musicians got pushed out of town. But for a brief moment, we were not on our, like Liz and I took notes on on notepads. I wish we still had some of them. We're not doing things on our phones because they were not smartphones yet. And
Right.
we were voted Seattle's most influential in 2004. So we were influencers before that existed. Like the ecosystem of living online didn't exist yet,
Wow. Kind of
right?
amazing.
So
It's
that's the
yeah,
real
I-
story
that's a
is
really good hook. I mean, it's totally true. It's so weird when I think about that. It doesn't. I forget that obviously no one had a phone, or no one was holding up their phone the way they do now at those shows.
we
And were
had
people
phones, but
were
you had
people
to like hit.
smoking? When did the smoking end in
Oh
Seattle?
no,
That's always
people
in
were
my
smoking like
yeah.
goddamn chimneys. I need to look back and see. I think it ended during the imaginary era. I'm not
Right.
positive, but
I mean, that's always my funny, like that, and like in Seattle, the thing that was so weird, because I live in New York now. I've been here for a long time, and like so
yeah,
many bands, occasionally someone will go on at 2 a.m. or whatever, and that's ridiculous.
yeah.
But like lots of shows that I go to, our bands play at like 8 or 9, and it's so easy and so funny because Seattle was always 3 bands at 10, 11, and 12. Like that's what you
It's
could
earlier
count on.
now.
Is it?
Well, I don't know if it's.
Post-pandemic?
I think it's earlier for the bands that I want to go see usually
Right. Because
because
so
we're
much of it
all
then was just like
oldsters.
the bars made money from people drinking.
Yeah,
So you had to close at 2. So you pushed it as close as you could and you made people stay till 2. That's how you made money. It totally made sense as an economic thing.
it did totally make sense as an
Yeah.
economic thing. And now I think they're like, these 40, 50 somethings are not coming to a
Right.
show that starts at
They're
10
they're
on a
happy to drink at
Wednesday.
7. Yeah.
Right? For a while, Barbosa was hosting shows where they would start at like 6 or 6:30 on a Saturday and go till
Wow.
9:30 or so, and then they'd kick us all out and have a dance night after for the kids, the young adults. And I was like, that is so smart because I
Yeah.
was like, I can get in and see three bands and be done by 9:30. Like, I'm so
Perfect.
in. It was perfect. So the smoking ban, December 8th, 2005. It was right in the midst of
Wow.
that
Okay.
era. So we were ashtrays for half of it.
Yeah.
And then I have to admit, I'm a
Linda's.
little embarrassed. I voted against the smoking ban because I
Oh.
was, I
I
was
don't
like,
remember voting. I
yeah,
don't remember a vote.
it was a
Yeah.
vote. And I was like, this is stupid. You should be able to smoke in a bar. And I was never a smoker, but now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it probably saved my life.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I was
probably have
never a
lung cancer
smoker, but
by
I
now.
I smelled like a smoker every
Oh my God. My
Friday,
clothes.
Saturday, and Sunday morning.
Oh,
So gross.
it was so gross. Um, let's let's shift from memoir and let's talk more about favorite shows because I
Mm.
absolutely love this story. I have to find it now. I've all here's your book. Here it is. Too many browser windows. That
Yeah.
you were like, I'm gonna write down and like list 100 shows. Did you keep a spreadsheet? Do you keep your ticket stubs, or was
Nothing
it all
like
from
that. No,
here?
it's really just came I tend to post like every 2 weeks, but it's not like hard and fast. Like if I don't have anything to say,
Yeah,
I'll skip a week. But I think it was my 99th post, and I was like, okay, 100's coming up. And so I
yeah,
99th post, I wrote like, what should I do? Should I try to do something big? I feel pressure, but but also who cares? I could write about my 100 favorite shows. Ha ha ha. And then after I posted that, I just started thinking, I was like, huh, like it started popping into my head. And And I just started kind of making notes. So this all started exactly 2 weeks before I published it. Started
Mhm.
keeping notes, just whatever on my phone, and then that would just remind me of another show and of another show. And then it was like, so is it just a list? But that's boring because these all have like little stories connected to them. So
Right.
then the stories came out. But I mean, the longest one is like a paragraph. They're not, and they're, whatever. There's typos and stuff, which is kind of the point. This is really just like, this is why I remember this show. It's not necessarily the best shows. There's some sort of controversial ones in there. I'm trying to
Yes.
remember. There's bands I don't even like.
Which bands
It
were
might
in
be
here that
Bush.
you
I
didn't
think the
like?
Bush show at Mo is in there. I mean,
Bush. Oh my
I'm not a Bush
God.
fan, but that was one that I was just like, wow, they are
Wow.
very, very good, and I am surprised. And I
I never
remember that
saw.
feel. Like a lot of it is just about the feeling
I
I got at the show, and I remember that feeling of thinking like, huh, it's pretty
I
good.
did
And
see Bush. I forgot, but I
yeah,
did see them. This is maybe the most 90s show, Bush and the Toadies at
that's the same
Moe's.
show. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
at
as
Mo.
I found it in your list.
It's
I
on the
love that you
list.
have these micro reviews of hear me out. I went to a lot of shows for free thanks to my record store job. I wasn't surprised when Toadies were great, but I was surprised when Bush was. They sounded perfect and dude looked amazing. I hated that I got it.
That sounds right. That sounds like what I was
He
thinking.
really was handsome.
He
Wait,
was.
is this possible? Because I'm pretty sure I saw this show when I lived in Atlanta. So it would have been 94 or 95 that a local
Yep.
radio station, 99X, put on a show. This is the most 90s show ever. I think it was, oh my God, there was a band called Moist, right? Moist,
I'm glad you said it, not me. I hate
Moist,
that.
Blues
Oh wait,
Traveler.
what are they called? Moisture? Is that someone's album title? Oh, I'm
I
thinking of
think this,
Sponge Rotten Pinata or something like that. I think you're
I
right about
think,
Moist. Yeah.
I think it was Moist, Blues Traveler,
Mm.
Bush, and headlining Hootie and the Blowfish. Like
Oh,
that's a
well, I mean
weird.
that's a bit southern, right?
He was from the area, and
Yeah.
here's the one thing I remember about that show, other than I was like, I don't remember Bush at all, but I remember that Hootie and the Blowfish um, did the song "Even Now" by Barry Manilow a cappella.
Oh
Darius came
wow.
out and sang "Even Now," and I love Barry Manilow unabashedly. Was my first musical crush
Oh nice.
musically, and "Even Now" is a great song. You know that one, right?
I
Even now that
I
I
don't, but
have come
I know
so
the only wanna
far.
be with you.
Yeah,
That's my
right.
Hootie song.
No, no,
My
this is
mom
Barry
read.
Manilow.
Oh sorry.
He
Sorry, I
covered
thought it was Hootie.
he covered Barry Manilow a cappella,
Wow.
and
That's
he
ambitious.
nailed
Yeah.
it. Like I
Wow.
would love to have a recording of it.
My mom just told me recently that Darius Rucker's memoir is very good.
I believe it. I wonder if he wrote it or if he's famous enough that he had somebody help him.
Right? Who knows?
Who
Well,
knows? I
hey
don't
guys,
know.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Lawrence, I'm so glad you made it back. Can we hear you?
I
Say
mean,
something.
I can
Nope,
hear me.
I don't hear you.
I can hear him.
This is a
I'll
Lawrence and me.
translate. Lawrence, would you like me to say something to Dana?
Right, right.
Do I need to drop now? This is like so Nabil, this is a common problem that when we're usually it's when we're backstage before the show.
Right.
Lawrence and I can hear each other fine. We pop
Oh, and
live
then
and
you
I
turn it
can't hear
on.
him.
Yeah.
And we cannot figure out why. This keeps happening with Substack, but I am gonna leave and come back. You guys can talk about
Okay, we'll
oh
talk.
you wait. When I come back, can we talk about that you saw Liz Fair on in 1995, and
Yeah.
I didn't see her until the 15th and the 30th anniversary of X on
Oh, wow.
Fame.
Okay.
I
Well,
never saw her
After this commercial break, we'll talk about
after
Liz
this
Fair.
commercial break. I'll
after
be
this
two
commercial
seconds.
break, she'll
Watch me
be right
go.
back.
I need to be able to hear Laura.
Okay. Lawrence, what's been going on? What did you do in those 10 minutes?
Oh, I banged furiously on my router and reset it and yelled at the sky and thought about Karen Marie Shelton undoubtedly telling me in the chat that Mercury is retrograde right now.
Oh, is it? Okay. Wow, you got a lot done.
Yeah, it was a wild and madcap thing. Um, so I know you all have been talking shows, absolutely. Did she ask you worst show? I'm super curious about
Oh,
that.
that's interesting. She didn't ask worst show. I mean, I try to be positive, but I'm sure there were terrible shows. I mean, I remember. Whoa,
Oh,
are
Dana,
you
you
getting that
having
crazy remix feedback? Can you hear me?
whoops.
Am I here still?
You're still here.
All
I'm
right.
here.
That's better. There was crazy feedback.
Yeah,
That was
crazy
because,
feedback.
remember, Nabil, how I went and logged in on my computer to let you back in
Yeah.
for whatever
Oh, yeah,
reason when
two
I
things on.
rejoined? It
Lawrence
was,
just asked me about my worst show, and actually, it
I
might be
heard.
one that's on that list. It's I think it was probably Jane's Addiction on the Nothing Shocking tour in the spring of
Really?
1989 in Salt Lake. I was a senior in high school, and
I'm surprised by
I was
that.
so excited they were coming to Salt Lake. I mean, that's still one of my favorite albums, and so I
Yeah.
skipped most of my spring break to stay home and see that show. And I mean, it was like it was just so like I mean, they seemed like the sound was terrible. Dave Navarro was like kicking on the distortion when it was supposed to be the clean parts when it was supposed to be distorted. I remember that. And I remember Perry having like a huge jug of wine that he like seemed to drink in like the first song. And it was $5. And I remember Perry saying like, "Did you get your money's worth?" Something like that. It just
$5.
felt real like we don't have to be good in Salt Lake is what it felt like, which was a thing when you lived
They
in
were
Salt Lake.
good. They were Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction were not known for their live performances.
Oh, interesting. But Smashing Pumpkins were good in Salt Lake when I saw them.
Hmm.
Okay, good to
But
know.
Jane's redeemed themselves, which I think I may have mentioned when I saw them a couple times after that, and they were incredible. But that show was
Okay.
pretty bad, and again, like more to like how it felt. Like it was so important to me, so I was just so disappointed when it wasn't what I
Well,
wanted it to be.
and it's interesting that even in your describing of it now, it's kind of about the production, right? Like
Yeah, right,
you're talking about like the audio quality and the fact that
right.
it didn't live up to your standards. And
Mm-hmm.
who would have thunk he becomes
I know.
a
Right,
studio head,
really. But
really
the other thing,
dedicated to great production quality.
what I wrote about though, I think it's in that piece was it was so interesting to me because again, this is like what March 1989. That was the first show I went to in Salt Lake. It was big. There were like a couple thousand people, like a sort of really crappy arena. And I remember looking around and be like, "Oh, there's all the punk rockers. There's all the goth people. There's the metal
Yeah.
dudes. There's like all the jocks from the University of Utah. Everyone is here." This is
Mm.
like the first show I've been to where everyone like sort of feels connected to this band. Nirvana, of course, got credit for that later, but I think Jane's totally did it before them.
100%. And it is in your the blurb you wrote about this show, and you have the ticket stub scanned,
But
which
that's from the internet.
okay. Okay, good.
Yes.
Jane's Addiction. I stayed home most of spring break to see the show. The band was really bad, felt like they didn't want to be there, but it was the first show where I saw something important happening. Goths, jocks, metalheads, punks were all there, and nobody looked out of place. Opened with Up the Beach, obvs.
They always open with that song.
I didn't know that, but
Yeah.
uh um
So I know that I dropped, internet, blah blah blah,
uh,
and I've got to drop again because
I yes,
Nabil,
you're doing your
I work
12-hour
for
marathon.
another Substack organization called Blue Ant Media, and we're
All
doing a
right.
12-hour marathon today,
Whew.
starting in 15 minutes. So
I
I've
wish you
got to
luck.
go be production guy over there.
Oh, does that mean I have
All
to
right.
talk music with
I
Nabil for the
know
next 14
it's such a
minutes?
hardship. Dana has to talk music with somebody
Ah,
who is even more perhaps versed in music than she.
oh, unquestioned.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well,
Unquestionably.
yeah.
great to meet you, Lawrence. Nice to
Great
see
to
you
meet
from
you too,
45.
Nabil. Sorry for all the drama and internet
Having a
stuff,
great
but
time.
have a great time, and we'll talk to you later.
All
Bye,
right.
Lawrence. Good
Thanks.
luck
Bye,
with the
everybody.
marathon. Have fun storming the castle.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
12
Ah,
hours. I do not envy
that's
him
a long
that.
time.
That is a long time. I saw Jane's Addiction in Orlando. I had to drive a couple hours, but you're
Wow.
reminding me.
That's pretty deep. That's like Salt Lake, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
well,
real America.
Gainesville to Orlando.
Yeah.
Um, you are reminding me of another show regret I have, which this might surprise you to hear, but I was in a sorority in college, a
I was
really
in a
bad one.
fraternity,
Okay. Oh, which one were you in?
SAE.
Oh, yeah, we had SAE. I was a Phi Sig, brief Phi Sigma Sigma. I was not a good sorority, but my best friend and I were both that's how I met her. And we were like, she introduced me to loads of amazing bands. And it was the very first Lollapalooza where
Oh
Jane's
yeah.
Addiction was one of the headliners and Nine Inch Nails. I mean,
Yep.
like, Pretty Hate Machine cannot be overstated in its
Susie and the
influence.
Banshees, Iced Tea. I saw that tour in Enum
Ugh,
Claw. Yeah.
oh my God, I had to skip it because it was rush week.
Oh,
And now
that's a
I'm like, I
terrible
should have.
reason to have to skip something.
But that was so like young Dana,
Yeah.
the duality of that.
Yeah.
And neither of us, we didn't go to the show. We both
Yeah.
considered being like, fuck all you sisters, we're going. Because I still to this day regret missing the first Lollapalooza. I think I ended up at like the fourth one.
Yeah.
And I want to say Smashing Pumpkins were there. I know the
Oh
Beastie
yeah.
Boys were there.
I went to 1 and 2 and then sporadically after that, but 1 and 2 were pretty great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, um, show regrets. Which
Mm.
shows did you miss that you are
So there's
like,
there's two that stick out. I
okay,
never saw Rage Against the Machine. I've still never seen Rage Against the
I've never
Machine, and
seen them
one of my
either.
favorite bands. And I remember like, but there's a time in Seattle when it's just like couldn't afford everything. There was so much
Hmm.
stuff happened, and I worked in or owned record stores a lot of the time. But when I didn't, I was just like a person buying tickets, and
Yeah,
so I never saw Rage on that first album, where they played Seattle at least a few times on that.
yeah.
And then the other one that's funny, and I'm gonna, piss off a bunch of your watchers, listeners right now.
No,
Never cared about Oasis. Still don't really care about Oasis.
it's okay.
But I remember very well working at Easy Street in 1994, and Brian Mead, who I'm still friends
Record
with, the
store.
Sony rep, being like, "Are you
Yes.
coming to this Oasis show? It's their first ever show in America. This band's going to be huge." And it was at Mo, and I was like,
Oh,
"No, I don't really like them, so I'm not."
oh my God. You could,
So
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 just so you,
it wasn't like, did you want to buy a ticket, or like it was seriously just like it was his job to try to get people like me to come. And I went to everything. That's why I was at that Bush show. But for some reason that show is like, no, maybe there's like a Trans Am show or some like math rock band that night that I went to instead. But the only reason it just would have been a fun one to be like, oh yeah, I saw their first ever American show back
oh
in
my God.
'94.
So just so the audience knows, Moe's, it's now New Moe's,
Right.
Neumo, New Moe's, play off of New Moe's.
Yeah.
Maybe 500-600 people
Exactly. Yeah. So many
venue.
good shows.
And to see Oasis at New Moe's, oh my
And that's
God.
where every show was for that chunk of time when Rock Candy was closing and Crocodile was a little small. That's
Yeah.
where like Garbage and No Doubt and Elastica and Blur and Radiohead on the Bends. I mean, every
Oh,
one
you
of
saw
those shows was
Radiohead?
at. They were all at
Oh my
Portishead.
God.
That's in there. They were all at Mo. It was crazy.
Sorry, I'm
It's a
having
really
heart
crazy time.
palpitations.
Yeah.
Heart palpitations at seeing those bands in such a small venue. Um, wow. So yeah, I'm not like a massive Oasis fan, but their impact is huge. And to see them at that small venue would have been incredible. But you saw
Yeah.
Blur there.
No, I didn't see Blur.
Okay.
I'm not a big Blur
Okay.
fan either. I'm
Mm.
trying to think who I did see. I saw Marilyn Manson there, which was kind of incredible. I remember him
Oh
like
my.
cutting himself with a bottle, and there's like blood and all this stuff. Wasn't that crowded? That was not. That was like early days. That was pretty fun.
Wow. People are talking about ticket prices. Jason is saying
Yeah.
$20 used to be my limit on tickets when
Right.
Van Halen was charging 40 for lawn seats. That was a red line for me.
Whoa.
First of all, Van Halen, my very first concert,
What tour? 84?
1984.
Oh,
I
incredible. That's one I couldn't go to in Salt Lake because it sold out too fast. That's a huge regret.
I I wrote about this. It's only on Medium. I should probably go get the link, but I almost shared it on Substack. I'm gradually moving all of my memoir to
All
my
right.
I Write Out Loud presence on Substack. This is a new project for me, and I'm
Great.
like building a home for my creative nonfiction. I haven't moved this essay over yet, or most of the music memoir pieces, but when I was 13 and in eighth grade, my friend Jen McIntyre's mom took six of us to the Hollywood Sportatorium, which was essentially a
Sportatorium.
it was a 15,000 capacity cinder block in the
Right.
middle of the Everglades, and it was essentially a giant bong. I mean,
Yeah,
and back then,
totally.
like,
All
I
right.
think it's now like subdivisions of homes, but back then it was like a one lane in each direction,
Wow.
middle of the Everglades block.
Yep.
And at the time, like people are so strict about holding down seats now,
All
but
right.
the show started and you just bolted for the front.
Yeah, of
And she
course.
was like, girls, just meet me back here when the show's over.
Wow. No
And we just
barrier. Yeah.
flew to the front. 13 years
Wow.
old.
So cool.
I was like, her mom is forever like my icon. But to shift, one of your favorite in your list of top 100 you list is Taylor Swift.
Mm.
And so I want to, like, when I was coming up with my favorite shows of all time, first of all, number one is Nick Cave at the Fifth Avenue Theater
Oh,
in
wow. It's a good one.
1998.
Yeah.
I've never been so bowled over by a show in my life, but I kind of did it in phases of like early shows like Van
Mm.
Halen and into college. And then I did the Imaginary era, Three
Right.
Imaginary Girls. And then they're the shows I've seen as a parent
Oh, okay.
with my kids as they're coming of musical age.
Right.
And
Right.
how incredible some of those shows have been. But the cost, Nabil, like the
I know.
cost to see music and sports both. Like, I'm not a sports fan, but raising kids in Seattle, I'm like, yeah, I should take them to a Mariners game or a Seahawks game or now a Kraken game.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's literally like a, a vacation.
really. I didn't
It's
realize
so
sport. I mean, I'm
expensive.
not a sports person at all, but I guess it makes sense that they're
But
expensive. Yeah.
yeah, I glanced at it once and was like, fuck that. I'll save it for the
Wow.
shows. But um, yeah, when you're facing, like, last year Lady Gaga came and it sold out too fast, and I was like, God, I would love to take my kids, but it was going to be thousands of dollars
That's
to
crazy.
take the
Yeah.
to go see her at Climate Pledge and to be
Yep.
like up in the stands. So
Wow.
can we just have a Gen X moment to say what a
Yeah.
privilege it was to be able to have music be accessible?
I know it's wild, right? Expensive shows used to be like $20 or whatever. I mean, maybe they were 50, but like they were never hundreds. It was never like,
Or thousands if you're
yeah,
talking about a Taylor
thousands. Yeah.
Swift show, right? Like,
Right.
it's nuts. I, being me, and I suspect you're similar, like, to me, a rock show is like a rock show.
Right. Right.
And arena shows are like, I took my kids to Germany to see Taylor Swift because
Oh,
the American
wow.
shows were
Oh,
so
because it's
expensive.
cheaper. Yeah. Yeah.
And because we'd never been to Europe
Oh, that's
post-pandemic, it was
cool.
time to go. So we saw her in Munich. One of the greatest show experiences of my life.
I mean, kind of incredible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you have it on your list. Can we
Hmm.
can we pause a beat and talk about two indie rock people loving seeing a three and a half
Yeah.
hour Taylor Swift
I
show?
know. Yeah.
What made you love it so much?
I mean, I've seen her a few times. I saw the 1989 tour at
Mm,
whatever MetLife, whatever. I mean, she was just as big then, like the same stadium she played on that tour in New Jersey. I mean, well,
sure,
I like
the
the music,
frenzy.
but like I love. I mean, one of my favorite bands of all time is Kiss. I think that's first on the list or it's close.
Yeah,
Like I love the spectacle of a show as much, and like that
yes,
Taylor Swift show is full of that. I mean, it's like a Broadway show and
it
it's
was.
like everything in one crazy thing. It was just like so. I mean, and there's also the thing that got me the most was the audience. I mean, we saw her in
Yes.
Kansas City like relatively early on, like before everyone knew everything about the show, or at least like my wife's a big fan. I took her on her birthday, but like, so I
Oh,
wasn't like scouring the internet to learn about it because I was like, well, I'm going, so why would I do that? I
right.
like
And
to
I'm not a
not know.
teenage
So it was
girl.
even more exciting to like actually,
Yes.
when she like dives into the thing. I didn't know that was coming. A lot of people did because they're looking at stuff. So it was like
Yes,
the element of surprise. It was just really fun and incredible. And like
it
watching
was.
all these young people freak out in a way that I've never seen. And also, and I actually wrote about that show on Substack a couple of years ago. The most interesting thing to me was trying to pee and having such a hard time finding a men's room because they turned them all into women's rooms. And it
Oh
was
my
kind of
gosh.
incredible.
Yeah, we did not pee. That was we. Well, we were general admission on the floor, so we could
Oh,
not
wow.
move.
Yeah.
And with my daughters, and my younger daughter is real tiny, so when at first I didn't think she was going to be able to see, and I was having such a panic attack of like, oh my God, we went all this way and she's not going to be
Right.
able to see. But then this really nice mom let her in, just so we had a line of sight from where we were.
Incredible.
And it was incredible. What
Yeah.
really amazed me was, and I wrote about this too on Medium and on, I think I've moved that story over to Substack as well, was how obviously she just elevated the concert experience. Like, it was literally a Broadway show for one every night
Yeah.
without missing a beat, a note, nothing. And she's
Nuts.
performing both for the audience and the camera,
It's
because it's
crazy,
like
right? I know.
like, especially the Tortured Poet set, like, it was theatrical production, but
Next
the
level.
audience mimicked it back. And there were things, because by then it had been a very long-standing
Right.
tour,
Everybody knew it.
and
Yeah.
we talked to this lovely German woman who was in our hotel, because the whole hotel was people who had traveled around Europe to come see her. We were the only Americans, but she was like, we want her to know how much we value her. And so there were all these traditions, like during Lover, everyone knew to bring little pastel hearts and to
Right.
give
Right.
them.
Right.
And during Willow, when they're passing those orange orbs around the stage, people brought yellow and orange balloons and inflated them under their phones. And so
Oh,
the whole
wow.
audience echoed it back to
Wild.
her. And before the show, I mean, when we waited, we were queued up for hours, people were like, do you have your balloons? Do you have your hearts? Like, it
Have all
was
your stuff, have your
so,
beads. Yeah.
she elevated everyone because she shows up so hard. And it just made me sad, because I was like, and it's like 95% women who are
Yep.
having this life lesson of how you show up, right? I
It's
think
pretty
she's,
incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was extraordinary.
Yeah.
We're coming up to the top of the hour, and we always ask our guests on their first visit here the same question. And you're gonna like hit this one out of the
Oh
ballpark,
no, the
okay?
setup. Okay.
And we didn't even talk about imaginary era bands, and shows. Viz Queen, Long Winters, Carissa's Weird, Pretty Girls Make Graves,
New
all
new
day
Death
long.
Cab song just came out. I was
Oh,
thinking.
really? There's a new
Yeah,
Death Cab
there's
song.
a new album
I
coming
saw
out. Yeah.
I saw Death Cab for Cutie. I do have to say this first at the Crocodile, which
Yep.
is like a 500-person venue with maybe 50 people there because Barsuk forgot to. It was like a practice for the tour,
I
and
wasn't at that show. I remember hearing about it. That was like
yeah, they forgot to
the
tell people.
don't tell anyone we're playing a really small venue, and really nobody told anyone, which like
Yeah,
never happens. Yeah.
and
I
so I
totally
saw
remember
them
that.
with like I don't know 50 or 100 people. It was
Yeah.
pretty great. But here's the question that we ask everybody: what is the most Gen X song of all time? Like, what's our anthem?
Oh, wow. I mean, without if I thought about it, I could probably come up with more, but it has to be "Smells Like Teen
Yeah.
Spirit" simply because of the way we started the show and my connection to that song and that summer of like having it in
Yes.
my head but not being able to hear it. Like so many things surrounding it are Gen X. The first time I heard it was on the End in Seattle, which was a brand new station, and it was on the countdown. And so I was like, I know it's going to be on tomorrow. So I had my cassette recorder ready to record it, which is a super Gen X thing to do.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that song
Yes.
is so Gen X to me. So it smells like Teen Spirit easily.
Beautiful. Yes, we get that. We get that one a lot. And
Yeah.
Jason Odell, who is a regular here in our chat, he has pulled together a playlist of all the Gen X songs that folks have
Oh,
named
wow. Great.
during
I
this
can't wait to
question.
see
It's on
that.
Spotify. Yeah, I need to write an article to share it. He frequently puts it in the chat, but he's in Barcelona right now, so I don't know if he's going to be able to
Okay.
put
Well,
that
it's
in
already
there.
on. Yeah.
I know. Oh wait, hold on. He's also actually writing a note here. You saw Typo Negative open for Queensrÿche in '92.
Whoa. That's pretty
That's a
rock.
that is
Nice.
very rock. That's kind of my roots. Like I was laughing as I was prepping for this of like at the same sportatorium seeing Def Leppard
Oh, yeah.
and Brian Adams and Survivor, like the arena Rocky shows.
So fun.
Oh my God. That Brian Adams Survivor show was very loud and very good. Weirdly, but our tapestry is diverse because we're
I
Gen
know.
X, right? Our musical tapestries.
So fun.
Nabil, this has been so
Been
fun.
great. It flew by too
Oh
fast.
my
Thank
God,
you.
we
Thanks
didn't
for
even
having me.
talk about your podcast. I really want to know more about it, but
Yeah. Next
I
time.
will. Yes, I will tune in. Please, everybody, go follow and subscribe to Nabil. I'm going to grab his link here one more time. I bet Karen is already beating me to it. Thank you all. Oh, my screen froze. So Substack is like, I don't even know what. Oh, we have a lot more folks here than it was showing
Oh,
on my
well, you can
screen
see my name
before.
on the screen. If you type that in, it'll come up.
Yep, I just put it in there. I just had to hit refresh. Mercury comes out of retrograde on Friday. I am ready for it.
All
Um,
right. I know. I didn't
yes.
realize that, but I am too.
I know. And I have two more podcasts today. If you all want more of me, I will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time for my I Write Out Loud, where I dive into memoir writing. I'm going to be talking about my latest story up, which is called Middle-Aged Men Keep Ogling My 16-Year-Old. And then right after that, it is Crone Cocktail Hour, which I do with Karen Marie Shelton and Oceana Teffenhart. It is our monthly new moon woo practice. We're Crone Cocktail Hour, we call it, because we're going to show up with drinks and talk about woo things and set intentions for the new month. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time,
Amazing.
5 p.m. my time. I know. So I'm going to go rest my voice and chill out for a little while in between. Thank
All
you so
right.
much,
So
Nabil.
great to
Thank
see
you,
you. Thank you for
everyone.
having me.
Love you, mean it. It's
I'll
so
see you
great to see
soon.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, of course, now I need to log back in. So y'all bear with me. This is going to take a minute to turn off. I need to go back into our StreamYard.